Your leading stories at this hour. Preparations are gathering pace for the state funeral service of former President Robert Mugabe today at the National Stadium. President Cyril Ramaphosa says government supports the movements created by women to combat gender-based violence. And the PSL resumes today with Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs having had contrasting fortunes to the start of their campaigns, with Chiefs at the top of the ABSA Premiership log while the Buccaneers are 10th. Good morning once again, and thanks for staying with us into the second hour of the agenda here on the SABC News channel. Let's start the show. Well, several heads of state and dignitaries, including President Cyril Ramaphosa, are attending the state funeral service of Zimbabwe's late former President Robert Mugabe at the National Sports Stadium in Harare today. The Mugabe family spokesperson Leo Mugabe says the construction of a special burial site for the first president of Zimbabwe is underway at the Heroes Acre, and that the burial will not take place tomorrow as was widely expected. Now, for more on the story, let's cross live to one of our colleagues in Zimbabwe, Peter Ndoro. What is expected today, Peter?
A very good morning and welcome to the National Sports Stadium here in Harare. And this is the venue for the funeral service of the late former president and founding father of Zimbabwe, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. The president of Zimbabwe, E.D. Mnangagwa, has just stepped into the stadium, and the funeral service will be getting underway in a short while, but you'll see many dignitaries from many parts of the world, including countries in Africa, and in a short while we'll be seeing those dignitaries arrive. But first, let's talk to the International Relations Minister of South Africa, who's here, Naledi Pandor. Thanks so much for joining us, Minister. It's a sad occasion for Zimbabwe, but also for the continent.
Certainly a sad occasion for Zimbabwe, for Southern Africa, as well as the broader continent of Africa. This was a freedom fighter, a first leader of a democratic Zimbabwe, leader of a liberation movement, and made a contribution to the freedom we enjoy in South Africa and many countries. Struggles were always part of his life.
What should be the message to South Africans as they watch these images?
Well, I think the messages should be that we should value our heroes, we should ensure that we guard our democracy, and we must focus always on clear objectives that address the development needs of our societies. I think our contribution in politics and other areas of life must be toward the good of all.
Right. And do you have any personal memories at all of President Mugabe?
Well, one of the things I have spoken of before was his love of the University of Fort Hare. He was a student of my grandfather, Z.K. Matthews, and often spoke of his views concerning his time at Fort Hare, and believed that it was a premier academic institution which Africans should really thank for the contribution that it made to the training of African leaders and African intelligentsia. He always had a crop of young people studying at University of Fort Hare, fully funded by the people and government of Zimbabwe. And I think that love for education and intellectual enterprise is something I deeply admired in him.
All right, I know that the proceedings are about to start. We're not going to keep you much longer, but I believe that you're going to be representing South Africa at the UN.
Yes, indeed. The President has announced that he will remain at home this year and not attend the UN General Assembly. I've been directed to lead the South African delegation to discuss the wide range of issues that will be discussed at the UN. President wants to focus on national matters at home. He's indicated the economy, the worrying concerns about gender-based violence, as well as the recent anti-foreigner violence that we had in our country.
All right, Minister, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your time. All right, so that was the Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor. speaking about Robert Mugabe. But joining us now is family spokesperson Leo Mugabe, just to tell us a little bit about the proceedings and what we can expect. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Nema Tambudzigo.
Thank you very much. Today is a momentous occasion for us. This is not just talk that President Mugabe is an iconic man, a hero, but this is when it in actual fact happens. The respect is bestowed on him with 21 gun salute. That's the occasion.
All right, so many of us will know President Mugabe from a distance and for the things that we've read. As a family member, what are the things that you think that people around the world should know about him and remember about him today?
We announce
He was principled even to the family.
Vice President from the Republic
we
of
saw
Tanzania.
it from a government point of view, but for us as a family, he would always ask you. For instance, myself, when I went to do business, he said to me, go into the business that you went to school for. And I'm an electronic engineer, and at that time, there was not much happening. And, I would feel, I want to do a music show, I want to do this. And he says, what did I say to you? Be principled. You went to school to be an engineer. What are you doing with musicians and all that? And at the public function, he then recalls that discussion and he tells the public that I told him that, he must stick to his. So that's the principled man that we know of him.
Perhaps you could just give us final clarity. There's been some confusion during the course of the week about how the events are going to unfold. Today we're here. This is the official memorial service. What will be happening from tomorrow onwards, for example?
From tomorrow we'll go to the royal home and the people of Zwimba and Mashonaland West will pay their last respect. Thereafter, the body will be taken to some mortuary where to be kept for close to 30 days because the construction site at the Heroes Acre will only be finished in about a month. So basically it's a waiting period, mourning period, and we believe, now we think it's the right thing, not to rush to bury him. Wait at least 21 days, 30 days is good enough so that, we can all digest that, this man is gone and God must just embrace him. He was a good Christian, he was a Catholic, staunch Catholic, always with his rosary. So basically it's a period, if you want, where we think his journey to heaven is taking place, and with all the prayers that will be taking place at home, we're sure he'll get to his destination.
All right, so very definitely within the next 30 days he'll be buried at the National Heroes Acre.
Yes, he will be buried at the National Heroes Acre.
And then perhaps a final word. What do you think the President would say to people gathered here and watching this on TV around the world?
I think he will talk unity. On a day like this, he will talk unity, unity, unity. And we would like this funeral to unite the people of Zimbabwe. We would like this funeral to be the symbol of unity, even within ZANU-PF itself. There must be forgiveness, there must be tolerance, and repentance is important. So perhaps we must take a leaf that this is the time to unite our own country and move forward with it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that was family spokesman Leo Mugabe speaking to us, and he says that the president, former president, the late president, founding father of Zimbabwe, would at this day be asking for unity, and he's hoping that this might be a unifying event for the people of Zimbabwe and probably the continent as the Pan-Africanist that he was. We're bringing you live pictures and all the voices that you need to see and hear from the National Sports Stadium, not just from this position, but other positions around the stadium. And helping us do that is Criselda Lewis.
And thank you very much to my colleague Peter Ndoro, who is on the other side of the National Sports Stadium. Well, I'm here joining the thousands of people who've taken time out to come and pay their last respects here at the funeral service in honor of the former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. They've come out in their numbers. Currently, well, high-profile dignitaries, former presidents and presidents are making their way into the stadium now, but so have thousands of people who've arrived here as early as 4 o'clock in the morning to try and get their seats to bid farewell to the former president of this country. Let me chat to some of them now. Sir, very good morning to you. What time did you wake up to be here, and why was it important for you to come?
Well, it was normal. I think I woke up around 8. I was here around 8, 9. Yeah, and it's very important for me to be here because this is a very important time in the history of our nation, where we're paying our last respects to the founding leader of our country. And there are a lot of things, a lot of policies that the former President Mugabe did which have improved the lives of the people of our country. So many people, including myself, received government-funded university education, and we have had opportunities to work in different countries within our own country and improve ourselves and become established. And it's owing to the policies that our former president and his government implemented. And it's also a very important time to listen to what other heads of states are going to say. I hope Ntate Malema comes and we get to hear some of his Pan-Africanist ideas. That's why I'm here. And also there's going to be a bit of entertainment after all the ceremonies and everything else. But it's, President Mugabe did a lot of good things that have helped the people of our country. A lot of landless people now have land, and a lot of Zimbabweans are educated, which I think it's very important for us to come and pay our last respects as a result.
All right, thank you very much. Let's speak to Mama as well. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Why was it important for you to wake up early and come and find a seat to pay your respects?
It was so important to me. I had to just bid farewell to our former president because he did well to us in terms of education, in terms of land. Looking at me right now, my father is a farm because of the late president, so I think it's something that's just good for the family and for the rest of the Zimbabweans. And I would like surely to say to his family, we are of loss together, and may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you very much for your time. Let's try and speak to young people now as well. I see you wearing a T-shirt of the current president, but you're obviously here to pay tribute to former President Robert Mugabe. For you as a young person, why was it important for you to be here?
Yes, I want to say something about Robert Mugabe. Because Robert Mugabe is a good president in Zimbabwe. I like Robert Mugabe like water. Because Robert Mugabe gave me land and more education to more country. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much for your time. Is there anyone else that we can speak to here? We'll ask our camera person, Effort Masekiwa, to come with us here. I'm going to have to try and find my seat. I'm going to take a seat right here on the stands. Let me squeeze my way through. Hello, sir, how are you?
I'm not fine. I'm just condolence. I'm not happy about the death of the president, Robert Mugabe, who was passed away on 6. So I did not just happy, and we are crying as the nation, as Zimbabwe, as the one who was so responsible for us to managing for everything that the country for us, but within we just believe that you can just we can just find the support from the President Emerson Mnangagwa. And as Zimbabwe, we are just all the country here, and we are not happy about the funeral of the president, and we are just crying as the country, and we are very sorrowful about what happens according to the situation, the condition about our national hero, our president, the former president Robert Mugabe. And actually we just believe to God that things can go well as the family, as all the people that are come here to deserve this the funeral. I so believe that the president,
Yes.
who was the former president, who was the favor to everyone, who gave the farms to the country, who gave like the people the support to everyone to find the employment jobs, to find the land restrictions,
Yes.
and to constructing the houses for everyone in the country to find a place to stay. But I so believe that our generation, if we college that in academic, the education that he gave to the country, otherwise we might be the better nation.
All
We
right.
might be enjoying a better world that we can create to the country. And I so believe that our
you.
president, former president Robert Mugabe, we are not all happy about we are very
You're saddened by what has happened. So thank you very much. I'm going to try and move towards this direction here. You can see even young ones have come here also in the scorching heat to come and be part of this ceremony or this service here itself taking place. I'm going to try and move towards this direction. This gentleman here is willing to speak to us. Sir, if you could come and have a word with us, if you could please stand up.
Okay.
All right, sir, why was it important for you to be here today?
Yeah, like as a youth, it's very important for us to remember the late comrade R.G. Mugabe. He's the one who made us to become what we are. That's why I'm here. That's what I just want to say. Just want to give him the last respect as youth. So.
There are many who criticize him and say that, he started off well, but as time went on, it was a dream deferred, they say. What is it for you as a young person, as you say, that stands out? How would you want him to be remembered by generations going forward?
No, it's like as a youth, I just want to encourage all those viewing at the moment that we have to remember Comrade Mugabe is the one who made us, who gave us education. He gave us, in fact, he just made us to be what we are, and I've got no more comments on him. We just want to remember him and mourn him and make the last respect.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you very much indeed. Speaking to some of the thousands of mourners that have gathered here on the stands at the National Sports Stadium here in Harare, Zimbabwe, as the proceedings have officially gotten underway. Quite a number of high-profile dignitaries, as well as presidents and former presidents, making their way into the stadium. The president of the country, Emerson Mnangagwa, arriving a few moments ago. But I'm not sure if you're able to see. We'll ask Effort Musakiwa if you could just pan towards that direction right there on the stand where people are chanting and singing. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get much close to that, but that's the sentiment essentially that we've seen here in Zimbabwe. Often they say that one does not speak ill of the dead, and those perhaps who may have had another view of the former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, today they say is certainly not a day for that. Today is a day to celebrate the life of the now late former elder statesman of this country.
Okay, we're coming out of Zimbabwe from that rolling coverage, but another funeral we're talking about today. Former Springbok rugby player, Western Cape legend Chester Williams has been honoured with a special provincial funeral, official funeral at the Newlands Rugby Stadium today.